Hey guys, Motor Car Nut here, and today we're talking again with the VW TSI engines. I'm showing you a visual on an oil leak that can look like a rear main seal leak. So this is an important video because I've seen it a lot. You go underneath your car. I do not have a VW in the shop right now, but I do have the old, this is the vacuum pump where the high pressure fuel pump would be mounted. All right, this is on the side of the head. In the back of the engine, when you open up the engine, you'll see in the back has the vacuum lines here. All right. Now, you look underneath your car in between the engine and the transmission, and if you see there's like a little weep hole. If you see oil there, you'll think, uh-oh, that's going to be a rear main seal leak. And a lot of times it would be on other cars. But on these, they have more of this gasket right here leaking than rear main seal leaks. And imagine taking the engine out or the transmission out and realizing that seal was good. All right, when all it was the seal over here, the gasket over here. Now let me show you. All right, when you take it off, there's high pressure oil that comes out of here. And if you see, it's very thin here, very thin, easy to leak. Okay. And even if the gasket itself, this is a new gasket, it has a little raised, sealer. So when you put it in, it crushes it much like a head gasket. It can still leak. So what I recommend you doing, if you're having this problem, and the reason why, let me back up, is that when this leaks, right, it's going to leak down on top of the transmission right in near the engine block. So now it's going to leak in the back, find its way all the way down, and look like a rear main seal leak. Okay? I have another video with it in the car explaining it, but this is a close-up of exactly where it's leaking. It usually leaks from here. That's like 80% of the time. And it could leak from this cover right here, the vacuum pump. Like this seal it's hardly any kind of a seal. It's a little O-ring that goes all around, but they leak. So if you see it here or more against the engine block, that's going to be probably, in other words, if you have a rear main seal that looks like it's leaking, check this first. How you can check it, this is going to be in the engine. There's going to be the intake snorkel that goes to the turbo here. You can probably just take that off and get a mirror, an inspection mirror, and look to see if you see any kind of oil from the head down. If it's clean, if this area is clean, and this area is clean against the cylinder head and block, then it is a main seal leak. But if there's any kind of oil on this at all, you better check this first because that's what it's probably going to be. All right. And what I recommend doing is cleaning this all up after you take it off. And you don't want to put, but you put like a little thin piece of gasket maker all the way around, but thin, not thick. Because you put it thick, it squishes, it's going to clog. This is the oil passages. All right, you don't want just a little thin film, very, very thin, very, very thin. All right, and the same thing with the gasket. In other words, you'll put it on here first, then put the gasket on, and then another little thin layer on the whole brand new gasket. Then you put this in and you torque this down to 90 inch-pounds, all three of those, and that should stop the leak. Okay, and another thing is, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a little seal here and here from the valve cover on the head itself that it could leak too because it's not 100% perfect like over here. I'm talking about on the valve cover. Like when you take this off, you're going to see on the valve cover, cam cover, that it has, it's not perfectly round. It has a little space, and that could leak too. That's why that little bit of extra gasket maker on here and then on here, and then you put it in. All right, that'll stop the leak. Sometimes, believe it or not, I would put just this gasket and it would leak again. It would come back like a month later and leak. So, they should have made a little bit better type of gasket, being that, like I was saying before, a lot of pressure comes through here and, it's easy for it to leak right out of here. Or here. If you have this leak, and you have to be careful, if this is the only part leaking here, let me flip it over. All right, now we're flipped over. All right, this is towards the cylinder head and the engine block, and this is towards the air cleaner. All right, over here, it could leak too. If you see it only leaking here and it's dry here, then this is leaking. What you do is you take this off. Be careful because you're going to have the pump in it. A vacuum pump has little metal scrapers, so to speak, that not really scrape, but they make contact and create vacuum. That's how it works. And you would have to get the gasket. You could try to put a little thin gasket maker. Again, you don't want it to interfere with the pump rotation and mechanical things inside. All right? And believe it or not, a lot of times it's just this. Just all it does is really take a little bit of labor and a little gasket, and you're done. Versus thinking 100% that it's got to be a main seal leak, because where else can it be leaking from? Well, on this particular, the TSI motors, that's where it can leak and save you a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of headache, because most people can't do a rear main seal by themselves, but they can do this if they follow my videos. I do have other videos taking this apart and then putting it back. You can watch that video too. I'll link that one below once I find it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe. Hit that like button. You learned something today. I would appreciate a donation to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.